and I shout. The sound from the soul. A portal. I travel through time. All my senses burn. The portal can learn. The portal can burn.
About to change. You had a green light, you had go, and now a caution light. It is about to turn red. Be vigilant when you see the caution light. Be alert, be watchful, because it's about to happen. When we study prophecy, we got to realize today Jesus...
You wanted to make sure that you see it.
Last night, the Earth passed between the sun and the moon, casting a shadow on the moon. You can see there. It lasted more than 3 hours, and people gathered at telescopes and observatories all over the country to watch it. We're showing you time-lapse photography.
Changes everything. One truth always stays the same. You're still
to help the victims of the tsunami. More than $1 billion have been pledged from around the world, and it still may not be enough.
Predicting that a tsunami with waves far larger than the ones we've just seen could hit Miami, Washington, and New York.
Satellite photos show how the tsunami obliterated entire coasts. This is Banda Aceh in Indonesia before the disaster, and this is how it looks now.
Together, tonight's dire news from California, the monumental suffering there after the tsunami, recent earthquakes, volcanic eruptions. It's enough to lead anyone to ask, is our planet trying to send us a message?
And with two such populated coastlines, the question is inevitable. Could it happen here? Or here? Or here?
Are these events in any way related, or is it all just part of the normal global process?
From space, Mother Earth, a seemingly tranquil big blue marble. But up close, it looks like our more than 4 billion-year-old planet is having trouble. From the violent Indian Ocean earthquake and the resulting tsunami that left 11 nations devastated, to 3 volcanoes in Guatemala, all simultaneously active for the first time in 31 years. To this week's minor eruption of a volcano just outside Mexico City.
The world is not coming to an end. Things are fine.
Dr. David Ademick studies the Earth for NASA and says there is no scientific data to suggest all this violence from the Earth at the same time is unusual.
So the scenarios tend to be literally outlandish, like an asteroid falling into the sea and generating a huge wave. And yet, there are precedents here, too.
The earthquake that created the tsunami did cause a shift in the Earth's axis. The North Pole moved about 1 inch to the east. Yet, U.S. experts say there's no evidence it affected the weather.
Rescue workers now say chances are slim that survivors will be found. ABC's Mark Litke reports.
It's the splendid isolation of the PB Islands that has lured so many travelers over the years. Hollywood chose it as the backdrop for Leonardo DiCaprio's The Beach. Well, this is the beach today. A tangle of debris and carnage, unrecognizable as a tropical resort. Those days ended at 10:34 on Sunday.
We humans have been predicting the end of the world for more than 5,000 years, waiting and watching for signs. Some were bold enough to pick a date. Many were dismissed as lunatics. And so far, everyone's been wrong.
Well, here we are again. I guess it
In the fishing villages along the coast of India, survivors say the vast majority of the dead are children and their mothers. Most of the men survived because they were in boats at sea, far from danger when the tsunami struck.
Pope John Paul II is said to be doing much better. Doctors were able to reverse a severe breathing problem, but at age 84, he is frail and concern is running high.
Larger were to happen either here or there, you can see there's an unobstructed path to the eastern coast of the United States.
And what about New York City? How realistic is that movie image here in Deep Impact of the Big Apple submerged? Well, if you ask this man, it's certainly possible.
To slow down through the water. In this part of San Juan Capistrano, a raging creek caved in this road. And in Malibu, crews blew up a 25-ton boulder that rolled onto a canyon highway. The storm damage extended all the way to St. George, Utah, where this house fell into another flooded creek. And back in California, the search for possible mudslide survivors continues into the evening.
The condition of the Pope appears to have stabilized. There was a scare last night, as you know, when he was rushed from the Vatican to the hospital, suffering from what was described as a breathing crisis. The Vatican now says the crisis is past. But the Pope's health is always an issue these days.
Now to Thailand, there's another home video of the tsunami hitting the resort of Phuket. It dramatically shows the waves building on the horizon.
It's a good 15, 20 feet tall. Easy.
According to Ward, a huge chunk of a volcano in the Canary Islands near Morocco is on the verge of chipping off and sliding into the Atlantic. Another volcanic eruption, and it might go.
I've been trying to get to your heart, but I'm chasing shadows. We keep falling further apart. So near and you're so far.
To help the victims of the tsunami.
If I could turn back time, if I could find a way.
Tonight there is news from the tsunami zone, evidence of both the power of humans to survive and the power of the waves that the earthquake produced. And there are new and astounding images tonight proving the tsunami was felt in all of the world's open bodies of water. You can watch here as the red waves of energy radiate out in this accelerated animation. It's based on data collected around the world. Now, eventually, the waves reach places like Africa, Australia, and beyond to the United States, both the west coast and the east coast of the U.S., traveling thousands of miles all the way around the world.
He sends down his love on the wings of a dove.
Are praying for the Pope. Good evening, I'm Diana Sullivan.
And I'm Catherine Anaya. The pontiff is sick with an infection. Pope John Paul II is receiving antibiotics. And less than 3 minutes ago, Vatican Radio reported the Pope's condition has stabilized. You are looking at a live picture of the Vatican in Rome right now. It is just after 7 o'clock in the morning there. The Pope remains in his apartment inside the Vatican. He is being treated by his own medical staff. And we have new information tonight about the Pope's health crisis. John Paul reportedly became pale and suffered a quick loss of blood pressure. He is suffering a high fever brought on by a urinary tract infection. Tonight, church leaders around the globe are praying that the 84-year-old Pope starts feeling better soon.
May he recover. We pray for that. May the Lord give him strength, and may he be able once again to communicate in the way that he has done in the past with such heart and such wisdom. But if this is not the Lord's will, then may he not suffer.
In the tsunami zone tonight, the push to get back to normal, especially for the children who are now called the tsunami generation.
Put your hand in the hand of the man who steals the water.
red with blood, matching drop for drop, the blood of America's victims.
A terrorism expert says the voice...
Revelations, a special television event.
Homer, what's wrong? Lord, you got a first-class destination resort here. Really top-notch. But I can't enjoy myself knowing my family is suffering.
Oh, don't tell me about family suffering. My son went down to Earth once. I don't know what you people did to him, but he hasn't been the same since.
Oh, he'll be fine.
Million books. 6 Left Behind novels were #1 bestsellers. So was their latest, a prequel called The Rising. There'll soon be a video game, too, on top of the TV series, 2 films, audiobooks, graphic novels, and kids' books. Thanks to LaHaye and Jenkins, the apocalypse is white hot. And thanks to the apocalypse, the 2 of them are blessed with a pile of earthly riches.
I gotta ask, you guys, can you share how much dough?